Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton in Osseo. Here's a look at today's top stories.
75 years ago, Japan surrendered to the Allies, which brought an end to World War II. Now, every year on September 2nd, Americans celebrate Victory over Japan Day. Many of those involved in World War II live here, and they give us a glimpse of what it was like when the global war came to an end.
In the Bay of Tokyo itself,
and everybody was happy getting back to the States after the war was over.
93-year-old Dale Jardine remembers when the guns silenced and the global fighting ended in 1945.
The final United Nations victory has been won.
Jardine was only 18 when he served in the United States Navy, carrying out various administrative duties on ships.
I was a navigator yeoman, so when you keep track of where the ship is on the ocean, so many degrees this way and so many degrees that way.
Jardine recalls being on a ship when news broke that Japan had surrendered. He was surrounded by 7,000 American soldiers who erupted in celebration.
But they were throwing everything over the side saying, I don't need this anymore, I don't need this.
But the victory over Japan couldn't have happened without the women on the home front.
Everybody who worked in the defense factory, a female, they were all Rosies.
Barb Larson and many women worked in defense factories to deliver war supplies needed to defeat the enemy.
The longer the war lasted and the more people that were gone, it was scary because we kept thinking, who was going to go next?
When the bloodshed finally came to a halt, men came back to their families, but Larson says many kept quiet.
So we know very little about what they saw, but they said you don't want to know.
Jardine, too, didn't say much about what he saw, but one thing is clear. He was glad to be home.
So I was delightfully surprised when it was over.
About 300,000 World War II veterans are still alive today, many in their 90s. Pafua Yang, CCX News.
People facing homelessness due to the COVID-19 pandemic may have another resource to turn to. A Golden Valley organization recently received additional funding to help folks pay for rent and utilities. PRISM has always had a homeless prevention program in place, but the Golden Valley nonprofit significantly expanded assistance because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are seeing people that went from making $100,000 a year that now are barely surviving on unemployment and qualify at very low income levels. So they're seeing it's just they can't make ends meet.
PRISM program director Allison Holberg says they've seen a 60% increase in people who are accessing the food shelf, as well as people who are receiving rental assistance. But there is a bright spot. The organization is now able to serve more people because it received additional funding from the federal government and Hennepin County to help people with rent, mortgages, utilities, and mobile home payments.
PRISM has about $300,000 in rental assistance funding and direct service funding that we would like to spend down by December.
PRISM officials say they are seeing applications pour in.
Now with the new COVID regulations on this funding, that it's actually 300% of the federal poverty guidelines. And so a lot of people that wouldn't normally qualify for our program will now qualify for rental assistance.
In order to apply for the PRISM Rental Assistance Program, you have to apply through the Hennepin County website. In Golden Valley, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
As people enter the city limits of Brooklyn Park, we're greeted by a sign stating that the city has a population of 75,781. Whether that number is accurate the next time the sign is updated will depend a lot on what happens in the next 30 days.
If we don't make every effort to count everyone, it's a recipe for disaster.
At a news conference Monday morning,
make sure your crew is counted too. Tell your family, your friends, your neighbors.
Hennepin County leaders joined community members to lay out their concerns about getting an accurate count in the 2020 census.
Here in Hennepin County, we have many households that are not even seeing the advertisements or the stories or the messaging in the language they're speaking at home. Additionally, there's been growing concern about where does this information go, who has access to it.
State officials say that 85% of Minnesota households have completed the census, but that remaining 15% represents a big chunk.
Imagine if even just 10% of households in Hennepin County are not counted. That would be missing out on more than 50,000 households. That's over 120,000 people, our neighbors and friends.
Historically, experts say immigrant populations, communities of color, and apartment buildings have been undercounted. Making matters worse in 2020 is the COVID-19 pandemic and a recent announcement that the count period would be shortened by a month, now ending on September 30th. The message here is to take the census seriously.
Completing your 2020 census is one of the most important and empowering acts of civic participation that you can do this year, whether you are a citizen or not.
With billions of dollars in federal funding on the line and the risk of losing a congressional seat, Hennepin County officials urge people to talk to their neighbors to help ensure an accurate count.
And so it's going to take a person-to-person touch to say, hey, you matter. There isn't a citizenship question. Let me get a translator so that you can do this in the language that's comfortable for you. Those are the types of things that Hennepin is seeking to do now to ensure that all communities get counted.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.
High school cross-country meets are limited to no more than 3 teams this season. Jason Malillo visited Elm Creek Park Reserve last week for a triangular meet from the Northwest Suburban Conference.
The Osseo Park Center and Rogers cross-country teams starting their seasons at Elm Creek Park Reserve on Thursday. The boys go off first. Rogers' Alex Hydorn takes gold in a pretty close race with his winning time of 17:51. Osseo's Kate Sandvik is second, clocking a time of 17:57, and Park Center's Jason Summers takes third place. After the course is cleared to meet safety guidelines, the girls answer the whistle, and Anna Ike makes it a sweep for the Royals as she wins with a time of 19:56. Osseo freshman Jules Davis pushing hard to the finish. For second place, her time is 20:04. Her big sister Lex Davis is third place for the Orioles, and Maria Hoff takes fourth. The Osseo girls run well as a team with 6 runners in the top 10. Here are the final team scores.
The Wayzata boys soccer team opened the season against defending state champion Edina. Jay Wilcox has the highlights.
Folding chairs replacing benches for distancing purposes as third-ranked Wayzata hosted top-ranked Edina in boys soccer. Wayzata plays well from the start. Joe Highfield sets up Aiden McGugan, but it's off the crossbar. A very near miss for the Trojans just a few minutes in.
Another look here is just that little chip.
They don't miss here. Peter Melquist corner kick to Highfield for the header to Charlie Casimir for the deflection. Wayzata grabs a 1-0 lead in the 17th minute. Then it's Mikhail Orlov threading a great pass to Casimir, and he gets rid of it just in time, burying a great goal for a 2-0 halftime lead for the Trojans. Defending state champ Edina turns it around in the second half. A great chance here, but Matt Mason is robbed on a diving stop by sophomore goalkeeper Jack Roach. The Hornets keep buzzing. The first try is snuffed out, but Mason is there to hammer it home on the second shot, and Edina's within 2-1. But that's all they get, and Wayzata starts the season in style with a 2-1 win over Edina. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Park Center's boys soccer team lost some top scorers to graduation, but the Pirates are looking for a strong season. Here's Jay Wilcox again with their story.
After some uncertainty about even having a season during COVID-19, there's plenty of enthusiasm as the Park Center boys soccer team gears up for the season.
Tryouts, I was really impressed by, 1, how many people showed up, and then 2, how well we were playing together already. We've been playing since maybe like 2 months ago. We'll just get together and play somewhere, and it showed with how well we were playing together.
I'm just excited for the season and like being able to play, and I feel like the team's already coming together and we're looking good. Just a lot of new guys this year after we lost a lot, and I mean, right now what I see is just a lot of good stuff, and it's going to be fun.
Everyone's very, very enthusiastic, very happy to be here. You know, kids are happy to see each other and just get the opportunity to participate, you know, and play. So we're all looking forward to it.
The Pirates were 11-2-4 last season, placing third in the Northwest Suburban Conference and losing in the Section 5AA semifinals. They lost some star power to graduation, but do have a pretty balanced group of returners with some good experience.
Yeah, I'm definitely, confident about our level. I'm sure we'll achieve great things. That's a goal. Most of our players, we have club experience and, even varsity experience,
They've had some pretty good teams of late, and Park Center's looking to add another winning season to the list. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Pirates beat Osseo 3-1 in their season opener. For more sports stories, visit our website at ccxmedia.org. Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.